Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are chiming in from. Excited to be with you here today, the 18th day of February for our Fireside chat. Gonna, talk about a couple things here today. And of course, as always, I really would love to have that, that participation, that interaction, discuss, what we want to talk about. Let me put us all into the mute mode here. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Excited to be with you here, 18th day of February. This year is already just flying by. I don't know if you're feeling that, but I certainly am. Crazy, crazy, crazy how time flies. But one of the things I had talked about, early on in this year is that I was going to focus. One of my primary, focuses for this new year was going to be my overall health and well-being. And so I am, out there hiking literally almost every day. Yesterday did a 4-mile hike again, almost 1,000-foot elevation, a couple times over, I did 5 miles and 3 miles and just can't tell you how much better I'm feeling just, getting out there, that sense of accomplishment. I'm, kind of killing two birds with one stone. One of the things that I have also fallen short in, over the last year or so, is my personal development. I talk about personal development all the time. You have to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it. And yet, many times the things that we talk about, we fall short in ourselves. And I've been falling short in that. And just, how it has an impact on your overall mindset. I mean, that's a whole nother thing we can talk about. But one of the things I've been doing, like over the last, I think like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe, is, using my earpods, and while I'm hiking, I've been listening. And so I've listened to, the Traveler's Gift. That was probably about a 6-hour or so book. And just yesterday completed the, Dean Graziosi, which we've talked a lot about that already on these Fireside chats. I finished his book yesterday on my hike, the last chapter. And, it seems like, guys, seriously, if you have not read that book, or if you're not a reader, if you want to listen like I do, I could not emphasize how incredible that book, Dean Graziosi, the Millionaire Success Habits, unbelievably powerful. Every chapter seems to be better than the last. When I'm hiking yesterday, finishing up the last chapter, it was on productivity. And I mean, just so many aha moments as I'm listening to that, because we, I think, can fall into this, either buying into our own excuses or making excuses for, why we're not doing something, that we're too busy. And I mean, it was sobering to hear some of the things he talked about from a standpoint of productivity. So I want to talk a little bit about that productivity, right? I mean, many times we can, mistake activity for accomplishment, right? We can be busy, but are we getting anything done? What are we busy doing? Are we chasing our tail? Are we just, trying to kid ourselves into thinking that we're productive, but really all we're doing is spinning our wheels? We're busy, but we're not really getting anything done. And, he made a comment. And again, I may not be perfect on the numbers here. I wanted to actually review it this morning so I could have, take some actual notes, because that's the downside of when you're doing it, when you're hiking. You can kind of try to take mental notes, and you hear something that's really, really good, and you think about it for a while, and then you kind of miss what is said after. But I wanted to take some notes, re-listen to that chapter this morning and take some notes on it, but I didn't have the chance to do that. Hard to take notes when you're driving or when you're hiking, but nevertheless, it had an impact on me. But one of the things he talked about in the area of productivity is, he says, let's say you spend 30 minutes a day, surfing social media. And he said, that's 3.5 hours a week. Right? I mean, what could you do if you were actually productive with that 3.5 hours? Or, he just talked, I mean, social media, and I'm guilty of this myself, can absolutely, kill so much time, waste so much time. And we confuse it for like we're doing research or accomplishment. And he talked about, this is an example he actually used. He says, you stumble upon a video on how to pop a pimple and end up wasting 4 hours on it, watching all these ridiculous, videos, because they're engaging, they're interesting, and like, what's going to happen, And so as I'm listening to it, I was quite, amused, but I had a lot of aha moments in areas that I am definitely feeling busy, but not having the accomplishment that's going to lead towards, the goals and what I want. I am, happy and proud of myself for, the fact that I have been very consistent in this hiking. I'm going to start adding now, maybe a day or two with a trainer and start doing some weights as well. But, feel really good about being on track. So, another thing just to think about, where are you at in your own personal life from a standpoint of what your goals, what your main objectives were, moving into this new year, revisiting those. Again, not beat yourself up too bad, but if it's fallen short, if you've slacked or it's faded away, there's no better time than the present to, recommit, because tomorrow's a new day. So anyway, this whole conversation he had on productivity was incredibly powerful. And I think we do absolutely make the mistake and kid ourselves into thinking we're productive in some of the things that we're doing, that we just are actually spinning our wheels and we're wasting time trying to make ourselves feel good. And he said, even and again, I listened to this, and so many things he talks about, I'm guilty of. He says emails and messages can absolutely bury you. He says, take and, have an autoresponder, or take and allocate, a certain window of time every day to go through messages and return them. Because says you can get back and forth. And I see this, I don't participate a lot in this, but there are so many chat groups going on that, turn in many times into absolutely not just a waste of time, but negative time, because they turn negative, and misery loves company. And so, I think taking this personal checkup of how you really are spending your time, is it actually productive? He talked about, take a week and write down everything you're doing. And he says, you'll be shocked. But he said, if to truly be productive, he said, if you could start out with just 2 hours of being actual productive, 2 hours of being truly productive, moving towards your mission in life, your goal in life, what you really want, 2 hours a day, he said, you would just absolutely change your life. He said, the optimum, he said, is maybe 5 hours a day. If you could ever get to 5 hours a day of real productive time. And, you may initially say, well, I'm already working 10 hours a day. Well, again, that's 10 hours of being busy, but being busy doing what? Right? I mean, he says the only thing that every single one of us have that everyone has the same of is time. We all have the same amount of time. We have 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year. We all have the exact same amount of time. It's what are we doing with that time? So this whole idea of productivity really got me, and I want to actually have it as a primary topic on one of these fireside chats where I have time to go through that chapter, really take some notes, because as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking of all of you. I'm thinking of all of you and how it's hitting me, how I want to share it with each of you. So together we can become better. We can become more productive, and we can get closer to our main purpose in life and what our goal is. So our topic today is tools. And what really inspired me to talk about tools today was not yesterday, but the day before, I had a really productive day. I had a very specific, goal for the day. I had this Steve Takata come over. He lives here in Vegas, and we shot 10 videos, and now he's editing those. And I put a couple of them up on Facebook on the compensation plan. And so It was a very, very, very productive day. I had a very specific goal that I was going to accomplish, and I got those 10 videos done, and how great that felt. And that was really an incredibly productive day. But as I compare it to many of my other days, I'm telling you guys, I spent a lot of time with busy activities that do nothing. that really do nothing. And if I'm doing it, I'm guessing, many of you are doing it as well. So before we jump into this whole concept and topic on tools, does anybody want to share, how they feel about this concept of productivity, if they have any tips of what they're doing or how they, feel they're doing in this area? I'll before we move on to the main topic, which was tools, I want to discuss this productivity. But again, we're gonna commit a whole session to this concept of productivity. But I need to be prepared to do that so I can give you some really good stuff to think about. Anybody want to jump in here on this productivity concept?
John, I'll share something that's worked for me recently. Consistency has been something I've been working on. And as far as the productivity side of it, getting lost in those dark holes that you can get in Facebook or any of the social media places, I found that if I set a timer, a short one, to develop the habit, so setting a timer for 15 minutes, and if I'm going to prospect, say my goal is 10, 15, 20, however many people a day, finding out, how many I can do in 15 minutes and how many of those 15-minute increments I need in a day. And then I don't get distracted as quickly. So setting a timer has worked well for me.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, because especially when you're on social media, and as you said, you go down one of those dark holes, TikTok's the worst. And I mean, you can blow 2 hours before you even realized it. And so, setting that timer to kind of, say, hey, stop here. You need to get back to your main objective in life and for the day. So I think that's a great tip to, keep us, like you said, from going down that dark hole. Anybody else want to jump into this topic? It might be productive to share on our productivity. One of the things I will say that was another thing that was talked about in this productivity is, he talked about how we can get overwhelmed, with problems. And he told this story, which was kind of funny. He said, which problem, if I gave you a choice, which problem would you like? He said, you order a chicken dinner and you end up getting steak. Or you had a real estate deal that didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to, and you made 60,000 instead of 75. Which problem would you like? And, most people look at that bigger problem as, well, I wouldn't want that one. I'd like the other one. And he said, if your biggest problem in life is you got the wrong dinner and that wrecks your day, you got nothing going on in your life. The bigger the problems, the bigger the success. So anyway, it was just, again, a real, I might be disappointed for the moment, but it's not going to wreck my day. Right. And anyway, there's so much good stuff in this book, guys. Again, if you haven't got it, if you haven't listened or read it, get it. Dean Graziosi. We're going to discuss some more of it, but it's Millionaire Success Habits. Phenomenal. Read or listen. I'm going to listen to it again. And I'm going to be prepared to do one of these productivity calls with some really good notes to give you guys some good info on it. So summary on it. So anybody else want to jump in here before we move on?
Hey, John, I just want to say something. I usually don't talk very much because, I'm where I am and stuff, but I've been in school for 6 months. And one of the things I learned to do is it was an accelerated classes that I took, and I'm done with it. But one of the things that I did learn to do, and I'm moving that over to the business, the Valentis business, since I've been done for about a week, is I will go on, and my daughter gave me this example. She says, Mom, just go do your work, do like an hour of work. And then she said, take 30 minutes and go do something that's fun or that you enjoy. And then go back and do some more work, and then take maybe another 30 minutes. and do something fun. So it just kind of relieves you or relaxes you a bit so that you can go back and concentrate. And that's how I'm doing it. And that's what I've been doing with my calls, because I'm trying to get good at doing cold calls. So I've been doing a lot of that, and I've been making a lot of mistakes. So I just tweak it, and then I'll go back, call somebody else, and then see how that goes. So that's how I'm doing it. Then I'll take a break and do something fun or relaxing, and then I'll go back. So that's how I'm doing it from here on out.
Yeah, that's great, Karen. And Dean actually even talked about that in his book of this really concentrated focus, head down. You're laser focused on a particular task or something on your to-do list or something that's really productive, that's leading you towards your goal. And he talked about at the most make that a 2-hour window. And so I think, like you said, because if you start getting irritated or start getting to where you can't focus, you're best off taking a break and getting back into it. So anyway, that's great. Thank you. Anybody else want to jump in before we move on? Okay, well, listen, the main topic today was going to be tools. And the reason I wanted to talk about tools was because of the fact that I shot these 10 videos. And many times one of the things that, and I guess this can tie into productivity as well, because tools are productive, right? Tools tells a perfect story every single time. Tools duplicate. I mean, as we're out there prospecting, looking to bring somebody in, and we rely solely on our knowledge, solely on our ability, we can mesmerize somebody maybe with our knowledge, if we're really great communicators, but they wake up the next morning and say, I can't do that, right? You guys hear me say this all the time. Everything that we do sets an example what others think they have to do. And that is where the magic and tools are. Everybody can do them, right? You don't need to know it. All you need to do is share it. And of course, the key to sharing that tool is setting it up properly. But the tools tell the perfect story every single time. If somebody asks me a comp plan question, what's the best way to get started? I can certainly talk to them about, and I can go through it because I did the video. I can go through the 5 reasons they should consider a business pack. But guess what? If I do that, then they think, and I could, do it very well. They're going to think they need to be able to do that. But if I say, I'm going to send you a quick little 3-minute video that will help you understand the best way to get started, guess what? They can see that. I need to understand this bonus better. I need to understand this component better. I need to know more about this product. If you take and rely it all on your knowledge, they think they have to have that knowledge. But if you use a tool to deliver the information, right? Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a great question. I'm going to send you a video, little short video. I'm going to send you a website. I'm going to send you a link, whatever it is. You give them the information that answers that question. Guess what, guys? That is duplicatable. One of the things I see all the time, especially with salespeople, and sometimes people that are really, really talented in delivering information, is that's what they do. And they can't grow a large organization because nobody can do what they do. Nobody's as good as they are. And so if you're not utilizing the app, if you're not utilizing the tools to deliver the message, that old saying, say less to more people. Some people may, and the other thing it does is it's incredibly productive, right? Because how much time does it take for you to explain something to somebody, and all of the small talk and all the direction that might go versus, that's a great question. I've got a short little video I'm going to send you. So the key to sending that tool is you got to get them. You got to stimulate that interest. To where when they get it, they're waiting for it. They're excited to see it because you've created an excitement around, getting that question answered or what they're going to see or what they're going to review. There's incredible power in that. And so, there's these videos that I shot or should be in the app by the end of sometime next week. And, be familiar with them, watch them. So when the question comes up, how does this legacy bonus work? How does the customer program work? How does this work? How does that work? Rather than you trying to go into it, which again is setting an example of them thinking they need to know all that now, you just send them the video. And of course, what we know that's so exciting about the app is it notifies you when they've reviewed it. And how much of it, if they watched the whole thing, and if they watched it again. So you're able to judge, right, what their interest level is, just by the notifications that you're getting back. So, to massively build an organization, guys, you have to have a tool culture. If you rely on yourself, everybody will rely on you, and there's only so much of you. So it's a major thing. Tools work long distance. Tools tell a perfect story. Tools work when you're not there. And so getting that tool culture is a major key to duplicating. So anybody else want to share how they've used a tool, what tools they're using, and a story of maybe how they've used a tool effectively? Everybody's quiet today. Come on.
Hey, John, had to unmute the
Okay, great, Chris.
I had to find the little mute thing at the bottom left. No, I'm a big advocate of using tools. I've used them all the time. I make them for my team. I create them. I encourage people to use them. They're extremely effective, like you said. I put a little bit of a message before the link to quarterback it. You call it quarterbacking the message that you're going to send out. And, how soon can they get to it? I always look for urgency in my prospect. How soon can they get to my email or my link, whatever it might be, on messaging or email. But I'm just real big on that. I mean, I make them all the time. I teach my team about it. And like you said, it's good use of time. Instead of having to go explain stuff and then thinking that they got to do the same thing. It's extremely duplicatable. I've done it for years. I've been a big advocate of it. And I think you're spot on with what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think the key there, Chris, that you said is you set the tool up, right? Because you can have the best tool in the world, but if nobody reviews it, it doesn't work. And so it's the setting up of that tool, right? Creating that anticipation, that excitement of reviewing it, that it's going to answer their question, that they're not going to believe what they see. So it's the setup of that tool is because if they don't review it, it doesn't work. Right. And you can't just go and send out a bunch of information. Hey, take a look at this. You have to. And ideally, it's going to be a phone call, right? Feeling that excitement and that energy in your voice, creating that curiosity, that sense of urgency. I mean, that's a major part of our business, guys, is the creating the sense of urgency, the fear loss. It's a major part of getting people to review tools. It's a major part of getting people to engage and wanting to do something. So thank you for that, Chris. Anyone else want to jump in on how they're using tools and maybe a story of how they've used a tool effectively, or if they want to, tell us how they're really dropping the ball?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good. Blair, how are you?
Excellent. What I like about it is, and you mentioned it, but it's worth repeating, is you can use the tools like to follow up again and again and again and again. And nice thing when you get notified when someone's watched it, then you get back to them, say, and I always go back and say, hey, if you have a chance to watch that tool, they have. Have you had a chance to watch that yet? Well, yeah, I'm at blah, blah, blah. And you can carry on the conversation. And if they have another question, then like you said, hey, what about this? Well, tell you what, I got another short video here. I think you'll really find it inspirational or educational, whatever they're looking to do. And you can send them that video. So it really, like you said, it utilizes your time so effectively. And then you're not trying to explain everything to the new person and possibility make a mistake or say something they get upset with. The tools do all the talking and they're completely impersonal, which is not impersonal as far as being a negative, but impersonal as far as your personality or my personality is not in that tool. So I think it's really powerful to utilize. And we've just got a new group started over in the UK, and she's starting to do the same thing. She's starting to send the tools out to duplicate her time and effort. She realized she doesn't have to do it all herself. She can use the tools as well. So it does duplicate what Chris said, and that's key.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things, Blair, that popped into my mind as you're talking about that, and this goes on how to use the tools effectively. Okay, you set it up properly, right? Build that excitement, build that anticipation, that sense of urgency, that fear of loss. If you do it properly through the app, right, you have the notification. You get notified, Blair just opened my video. Blair just watched 2.5 minutes of that 3-minute video. He just watched it twice. Okay. What do we always say? The fortune is in the follow-up, right? I know this is another topic, but it goes into tools being effective. Is if you send somebody a tool and you get notified that they've, well, two things. Number one, if you send them and you didn't do it through the app, you don't know when they've watched it or if they've watched it, right? If you do it through the app, you get notified that they've watched it, how much they've watched it. And then knowing the fortune is in the follow-up, you know right now you need to follow up with that person ASAP. I mean, immediately is ideal. You know, I give you a call, Blair, do you got a minute? I see that you just watched that video. Or you know, for sure, absolutely for sure, without question, you have to follow up with that person, you know, within 24 hours. Within 24 minutes is going to be better, right? The faster you can follow up after they've reviewed it is going to be so much more effective. And so this is an area that is a major part of using tools successfully. It's setting them up, number one, and following up, number two, and following up on that timely basis. And if you do it through the app, you know when, and so you're able to follow up immediately. And I can tell you, they'll be blown away when you call them up. Hey, I see you just watched that video. How did you know that? Because, you know, the everyday person probably not familiar with how that notification and all that stuff works, but it's all part of the process. Somebody else want to jump in?
Hi, John. This is Sheena.
Hi.
I just want to share to you I shared your video, your opportunity video in Australia. I'm very new to the business side of Valentus, but I have a lot of knowledge about the product because I've been using this since 2016. But in the business side, deep in business, I just recently joined and build a team. So one of my team in Australia is they have the different name of the products, which is Europa Joe or something. So I shared your opportunity video when she asking me to start which is the best way to start. So it's very helpful, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that, and hopefully it had a good result. And you followed up on a timely basis and help get that person started. That's fantastic. Thank you. Anyone else want to jump in or talk about how they've used the tool or what tools they're using that are really effective? Okay, so we've got a quiet group here today. Anyway, guys, that's the main thing that I want to talk about. I'm really excited. I want to next Friday, I want to circle back around on this productivity thing because I believe it is so powerful, and I am going to be really prepared for you. I'm gonna review this. I'm gonna take notes on it, and we're all going to become more productive. Tools is a tool. Tools are a tool to be more productive. And I can tell you, I know so many people in this industry, let's call it spend way too much time, trying to answer questions, and they break down the duplication where if they utilize the tool, it's going to duplicate. It's going to give them a perfect story every single time. And of course, the key to that is, setting it up and doing the follow-up. So we're at 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye unless anybody else wants to share something before we sign off for today.
John, can I ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
What's the difference between the Pro app and the free app? Is it better to get on the Pro app?
Yeah, the Pro gives you the ability, I think, to do the live selling. It gives you access to see the information on your back office, where it's tied into your back office and stuff. So I think for most people, I mean, I don't want to, take revenue out of the company's hands that run the app, but I think for most people, you're fine with the free version to get started. Because I know that it's got all the notification. I mean, the main goal in the app is all that is available, is is on there. I mean, websites, links, PDFs, it's all there, and we're adding to it all the time. So the key to that is utilizing that material to answer questions, to prospect, to overcome objections, to train, and the notification aspect of that is a major part of that. And all of that is available on the free portion of the app.
Okay. All right. Thanks, John.
John, I'm gonna just.
Hi, John.
Here. Oops.
Yes, go ahead.
On the left, when I'm looking at this screen now, at the top, it says on custom live streaming service. Is that through the app?
Yeah, they have a live. No, right now with the live stream, that's actually not through the app. That is YouTube. But it's kind of interesting you bring that up. I've never used the live stream, okay, on the app. And that would be something I should experiment with, and maybe we could do live stream on the app sometime. So that's thanks for bringing that to my attention. But no, this is actually being streamed on YouTube, and it's all of these fireside chats and the Monday calls. And I mean, on my YouTube channel, if you haven't checked it out, just type my name into YouTube and it'll bring it up. There's hundreds of videos on there, short ones, long ones, fireside chats, opportunity, all kinds of videos on there.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, John. I want to add on the tools other than the share apps. I use a planner. I don't rely heavily on memory. So any conversations I have, anyone that asks for a sample, I always have a planner. So it's easy for me to follow up, because when you're working with so many people, sometimes with the social media messenger, it gets buried down. It's hard to find them. So having a planner, and it's easy to find them. And another tool that I've been using that's very effective right now, we are, as everyone knows, we launched the VIP 30-in-1 coffee in the Philippines, and giving out the trial pack, the pouch that has 30 sticks on it. It's so effective in exposing our products, bringing it to the hands of your prospects, even to your previous business partners, because there's a lot of business partners in the Philippines who went on a different direction. But then with this VIP coffee, I find it super easy. I just literally upfront and blatant to them. I said, hey, we just launched this 30-in-1 VIP coffee. I have trial packs. Will you try it? It's only 1,200 pesos, which is roughly $24. And it's very affordable to them. So I think it's the easiest way. And everyone that I asked to try the trial pack, I only received 2 no's. But there's always no's. It's not guaranteed yes, but it never stops me of keeping asking them. So I have a number of how many people I ask every day. I write them down, who receives it, when the products was sent out, when to follow up, because it's not enough to send them the trial packs. We still have to follow up. We have to cultivate that excitement within them. So I think those are the tools that I'm using right now. We have 1 business partners in the Philippines who personally enrolled 11 business partners to date, 11 business builders to date. So it's super exciting. The trial packs is working. So back to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, one of the things that, Raphael just brought up is the product itself is a tool. Right, the product itself is a tool. We may initially think tools are videos or their websites, but the product is a tool, right? And just like that product being a tool, you have to. Number one, the other thing she said is she's asking, right? You're asking. I think that's one of the things that we fall short in too, is not asking. We're in a conversation with somebody. Maybe we've sent another tool to stimulate an interest. Don't sit back and wait for them to say, can I try it? Would you like to try it? Okay. Can I get you a sample pack? So getting them, that asking is a big thing. Setting and creating that excitement and that anticipation sharing some testimonials about what other people are experiencing. And, they're going to want to experience that same thing. And the only way they can experience that is they have to try it. Right. So, utilizing some testimonials or, sharing what you've experienced, what others experience, what's happened to some other people. I mean, literally, if you do that with excitement and you do that, you're going to get people to say, I want to try that, whether it's a 6-day experience, here with, whatever coffee you want to use here, or it's the VIP coffee in the Philippines or the Europa Joe in Europe, creating that anticipation, that excitement of trying that. Because if you just send somebody a sample, the likelihood they ain't going to use it. And especially when you charge someone for a sample, the likelihood is incredibly high they're going to use it. And if you're not following up on that timely basis, you're losing at least 50% of the people that you could have maybe moved forward or got to commit to join or to buy. If you're not doing that follow-up properly. So tools work, but all of the action before and after the tools is what makes them really productive, right? It's the setup, it's the follow-up, right? And it's the ask. You have to ask. Where a lot of people fall short is they don't ask. Or, and I'm just going to say this again too, where a lot of people make a huge mistake is they just keep talking. They talk way beyond. I mean, say less to more people, say less to more people, answer questions, and if you're the one doing all the talking, you're missing the boat. You want them to talk. Asking questions is way more effective than talking. Asking questions and then utilizing tools to answer those questions. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this. Next week, we're going to do productivity, and I'm going to be prepared for you. We're going to have a really great, robust discussion. And quite frankly, I believe it's going to be some eye openers and some real aha moments as it was for me. So with that, have a great rest of your day. Bye now.